Welcome, NoDQ Galaxy, back to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 149, and it's a pizza party at Dave Meltzer's. We always have some type of celebration when we do these shows, and this time we're all going to Dave Meltzer's for a big Domino's pizza party. This is the elite panel of NoDQ this week. What's up, everyone? And you might notice a new face, and his name is Nico. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet everybody. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. Let's talk some wrestling.
All right. And you know the routine. You've seen this show before, right?
Yes, I have. I watched earlier. I think it was last week when you guys had my buddy Rob Fury on, or was it earlier this week?
That was last Thursday.
Okay, yeah, that was last week Thursday. Wow, it's already
last Thursday when we headlined the show with the thumbnail and the headline on YouTube was CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and poof, what? CM Punk coming back. The internet, we all know how that works. It pops a number. But thanks for being on, and I will get back to you shortly.
Okay.
Big G, move your hand away from your mouth because you're supposed to smile and be happy to be here.
Yep. I'm glad to be back. Very good.
What happened last week? Did I boot you off the show?
No, not really. Just decided to take a week off and have somebody else go on there. Yeah.
You just said, "Hey, I'll take a week off." Okay, you're back.
Yeah. But
you had a nice, generous donation last week, I see.
Yes. Like I always do occasionally, but I'm glad to be back. As I usually say, let's get this ball rolling.
All right, and of course, over there to Mini Meltzer himself, Aaron Rift. What's going on, man?
Well, thank you, Mini Russo. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here, just like Big G. Very happy to have Nico with us tonight on the NoDQ Review. We're changing it up a little bit, getting some fresh blood. We had Rob Fury on last week, and Nico, you're friends with Rob Fury. You're friends with Sun Goshiku and Steve-O also. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. Steve-O and I are actually part of a wrestling-themed cosplay group based out of the Chicago area. We are called Too Sweet Cosplay. Generally what we do is we go around any convention that has wrestling related to it, whether it's a C2E2 or a wrestling convention, and we kind of take it over. Obviously, we haven't done that the last year and a half or so because of the pandemic, but we're hoping with things starting to open back up, maybe we'll get to do that before the end of the year at least once.
Now, do you guys have a webpage? We might as well get a plug out for you right now since we're talking about it.
We do have social media. We have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's at Too Sweet Cosplay. It's all one word, TOO, and then Sweet SWEET, and then Cosplay COSPLAY. Send us your stuff if you're into cosplay, any wrestling, or even any type of genre in general. Even though our primary focus is professional wrestling, we do accept and we do encourage all forms of cosplay and entertainment.
So let me ask you this, Nico. If Aaron wanted to ever show up in Chicago, wherever you live, and be, could he be Dave Meltzer? Could he dress up like Dave Meltzer? Does it have to be actually somebody in the business?
You know what? I welcome it because the original Dave Meltzer, that mark already has me blocked. So I'm all for it because you, Aaron, you seem to have like your finger on the pulse a lot more than Uncle Dave does these days.
He does.
Uncle Dave, to me, he's the equivalent of the dog from Married with Children. So if you've seen that video that's been going around social media, you know what I'm referring to. So I really don't care for Uncle Dave that much anymore.
Now, he doesn't block me, and he never responds to me, but he doesn't block me. So I think he's entertained by, when I say party at Meltzer's and stuff like that. That's kind of like a new favorite thing I do these days.
All right.
Some of Dave's tweets. But anyway, enough about him.
Well, wait.
We're here for the NoDQ review. What?
Who's gonna be Big G? If Big G's going to the cosplay, we got me as Mini Meltzer and you as Mini Russo. What does that make Big G?
Big G? What wrestler? What personality are you going to be?
I don't know.
That's an easy question. That's not like a difficult question where you get all flustered. Think of one wrestler, your favorite one,
Triple H. There
Okay,
you go.
there you go.
Okay.
So it'll be time to play the game. All right, let's get this thing started here.
I was gonna say Big Shayna.
No, if you guys don't know by now, Shayna has dropped significantly down on my radar.
Oh, Colin Cleaver will go as Tommy End. I like that. I like that idea. But anyway, let's get these topics started. And this is one I know Aaron doesn't necessarily really want to talk about, so we'll kick off the show and get this out of the way. But Nikki ASH is the Raw Women's Champion because she cashed in her briefcase against Charlotte the night after Money in the Bank. Now, that had a week to sit, a week to fester. She's now losing non-title matches. She almost did it, and she's going to maybe almost do it again. And you can clearly see this is like a Vince McMahon thing to 7 to 12-year-olds because, and bless her heart, and bless any of these wrestlers' hearts, trying to get these gimmicks over in WWE when Vince McMahon wants something. Now, rumors had that Nikki Cross really wanted to do something like this. We don't know the details on how Vince McMahon has spun it, but when I see her talking and getting behind this character, okay, and we think of like when Becky Lynch was the champion, we think of Sasha, Charlotte, it's like, okay, how can we take this girl seriously? And my question is this, the fan, we hear the noise during certain times when she talks, but they show the crowd and the crowd's sitting there lifeless. It's piped in noise. There's a whole big problem with this. And how do they fix it? Big G, I am going to start with you.
All
this
right,
needs fixing.
Yes.
And quickly.
So I liked Nikki Cross when she was part of Sanity, and even when she broke off with Sanity, and she was still doing that crazy gimmick. I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed her with Alexa Bliss as well. And now, this superhero gimmick, I mean, we've seen it before with Hurricane and Mighty Molly, Holly, and Rosie, and that worked back then, but I just don't feel like this character works for her. I know, you just said like she had some kind of input with this character, and she's trying to inspire younger women and all that, and I'm fine with that too. But I just don't get the gimmick. Why are you gonna call her almost a superhero, Nikki ASH? That's just too long of a thing to remember.
So if this happened with her and she's in this spot, how does that make you feel that it could have been Shayna Baszler? Or did she not have that quirky personality with the
I don't know what
Irish accent,
I don't know
or whatever Nikki Cross has, Scottish, Irish.
She's Scottish,
okay.
But I guess Vince doesn't really see anything in Shayna. And don't get me wrong, Nikki is well overdue for a championship run, but I felt it should have been like when she was like that crazy Nikki and not, this, like I said, I have nothing against her being, a superhero. And, she, like I said, is trying to inspire younger women and, telling them they can do whatever they can do to achieve their dreams. But me personally, I'm just not feeling this gimmick. And like, she lost clean to Charlotte. And then right after the match, she challenged her to a rematch.
She said
literally 2 seconds after the match, she challenged Charlotte to another rematch to say, "Oh, I almost beat you. Now I can almost beat you next week too." I was like, I just, and the crowd's not into it. The crowd is not into it. Like you said, they were lifeless.
I mean,
I just literally sat there. I'm just like, I didn't even, how people. I mean, they did pop for her when she cashed in Money in the Bank, but that's a given because whether you're heel or face, they're gonna pop because they know a cash in is happening. But if the people aren't feeling you, they're not gonna cheer you or boo you. They're just gonna sit there lifeless, and they're gonna have to pipe in noise, And it's it's sad to say, but I just hope Nikki gets away from the superhero gimmick as fast as possible and goes back to crazy Nikki because that's what I was digging.
Yes, the old music, as Aaron Anderson pointed out.
It's just
she's got to lose a title, and they got to get through this.
I don't understand.
Or Big G, when I was 7, I thought Coco Beware was entertaining, but they didn't put him in the main event as the champion. Sorry, Coco Beware. But anyway, Aaron, over to you because there was a couple super chats that came in.
Okay, yeah, let's get to those real quick. First of all, going back to earlier, Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. He says, I stopped listening to Meltzer when he said the product these days is better than the Attitude Era. Well, I think he meant better in the sense of the wrestling aspect of it. I mean, creative-wise, I would say definitely not. But the Attitude Era, it had its faults. It had its great things as well. It was a very creative period in wrestling history, but people did not tune in for the wrestling. They tuned in for the characters and the storylines. And Walter Cruz with a $2 super chat says, Ripley will win the title back from Nikki at SummerSlam. Not necessarily. I would not be shocked if Rhea actually got pinned by Nikki Cross at SummerSlam. But as I said on Monday, this gimmick is not for us. It's not designed for us. We're not the target audience. It's for the kids. And I'm okay with the gimmick as long as she's actually a credible champion. But when you have her lose literally her first match as champion, like you've already established that she won by a fluke. And
right.
I don't think that's a good way to portray your world champion. And there was an excerpt from Brock Lesnar or something that he stated years back saying that the champion should never lose a non-title match, because if that's the case, then why is that person even the champion in the first place? So
yep.
I think if you want to do the underdog gimmick with Nikki, she should have been chasing longer before finally winning it. When you already have her win the title and then have her immediately lose, I think you're going the wrong direction with it. So that's really all I have to say about that angle. I guess there's still time to redeem it, but right now I'm not feeling it. I'd love to see her go crazy though and become this demented wannabe superhero or something like that. But my feeling is it's going to be what it is until they decide to stop using her.
Did you get all the super chats covered there?
Let me check.
There was one from Matt Phillips Reviews.
Okay, let me get to that. He sent in $2. He says, Nikki ASH is the new friendly Bayley. I mean, even the friendly Bayley, I think, had more of a backbone as a character than Nikki ASH at this point. Yeah, we're caught up now. Oh, wait, no, we're not. Walter just sent one. Yeah, Walter sent in another $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. He says, Vince isn't patient. He will see it's not working and kill the gimmick, at least unless the ratings show that girls between 5 and 13 are tuning in. And yeah, Vince very well could give up on this at SummerSlam. Like I said, would not shock me either way. Nikki could lose the title, but maybe Vince decides to let it go on a little bit longer and Rhea Ripley takes the pinfall. It's hard to say at this point.
All right, well, we're going to have some fresh perspective here. Nico, make your debut. First topic.
Yes, sir. Okay, I mean, I kind of agree with what everyone is saying so far. And Aaron, I believe you alluded to that maybe Nikki can kind of become like this crazy, demented, almost superhero, almost like a heelish type of deal. I kind of picked up on that vibe after the match with Charlotte. First of all, I did not expect her to lose. I expected her to win the match and get the momentum. Like, okay, cool. Nikki just got the belt. Awesome. Great. Everybody was happy about that. She'll win this match, no problem, because they're doing the triple threat at, SummerSlam. But as soon as she lost it and she grabbed the mic and they started doing the promo, I could see, even in like her voice and like her tone, that it was almost like a heel promo almost of someone who was like demented a little bit or almost like enraged of like, oh my goodness, I'm the champion. How did I lose? How did I lose to you? And I'm the champion. Like there was a little bit of that with her tone of voice and the way she was presenting herself. So maybe they could kind of do that where, she's a superhero in training, but she just becomes this demented, fake superhero type of deal. Kind of like the character that John Cena is playing in Suicide Squad. It's eluding me right now.
The Peacemaker?
Yeah, there you go, the Peacemaker. I knew what that was. I just couldn't remember. But like maybe that's what they're going with. I don't know. I would hope that Vince doesn't give up on this idea and just let it try it for a few more months. just because Nikki allegedly pitched this idea to Vince and he ran with it. But I don't know. I need to see more because you guys are right. Maybe this is just something directly for the younger audience. And we all know Vince loves the kids. You know, kids are the ones who tell mom and dad, hey, can we please go see Monday Night Raw? They're in town this week. Or can I please buy this action figure?
Right.
So who knows? I still need a little bit more, but maybe the demented, twisted superhero type of deal is coming. I don't know. I still need more.
Yeah,
well, I've already had enough of it myself, so it can go.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that when you look at the live events for the past few weeks, you notice a lot of kids there, a lot of families compared to AEW, and I think that's what WWE relies on. They rely on the kids coming in, getting hooked on the product, growing up, and then they have kids, and those kids become fans, and the cycle just keeps repeating itself. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $5 super chat. He says, will we ever get another clean cash-in like John Cena or RVD did in advance? I'd like to see it happen one of these times, but who knows? I mean, maybe Big E does it. It's hard to say. What do you think, Virtue? Do you think we'll see another one anytime soon? Big E?
It's hard to say. You never know with what they're going to do. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say we're going to have to wait.
All right, then. Yeah, I think we're caught up.
Big G, you want to answer that too?
I could see Big E. I mean, possibly like he
saying he wants a match against so and so at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like, didn't RVD do that against Cena?
It was
One Night Stand. That was well done.
Yeah,
perfect timing, perfect storm.
It was RVD. It was RVD did that, and then John Cena did that against Punk going into Raw 1000 for the title as well in 2013.
Yeah, I don't know if Big E will do that. He might take.
I think it would work with Big E. However, everyone loves the idea of the surprise cash in, whether it's a baby face cashing in on a heel like Punk did against Edge back in the day, or the heel cashing in on the weak baby face. So everybody loves it because of the surprise factor. But if there was a guy who would try to do the whole straight up cash in, it does fit Big E's character for right now.
Right.
Now, closing up this topic, I'm pretty sure if I was 7 years old again watching today's product, I would think Nikki ASH, not her fault, is horrible and needs a change. 7-year-old me probably would have liked her other gimmick better. So, Aaron, before we move on, a couple more super chats came in.
Yeah, we got Walter Cruz with a $2 super chat. He says, TNA did the Joker sting. Maybe Nikki will go Two-Face. I like it. I think that would be more interesting than what they're doing right now. Give it some depth, and I just hope they don't make it too close to what Alexa Bliss is doing. But maybe they could become some kind of evil tag team.
Put them back together
like tag team. Yeah,
Tito's probably like, don't encourage anybody, Aaron Rift, with that.
Put them back together. Kind of do like a because she's had encounters with Alexa Bliss that changed her a little bit. Just an idea there.
Yeah, that would be a nice little twist on that storyline. And King Alex sent in a $2 super chat, says he will be in Vegas SummerSlam weekend, attendable card. So I guess he's asking if he thinks the card is going to be strong. I would say so. I would say it's going to be a pretty big card. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. At least we think it's going to be John Cena versus Roman Reigns. We'll talk about that at the end for the main event. If you're a Bill Goldberg fan, I suppose that's a match to go watch for 2 minutes or whatever. But all in all, I think SummerSlam, WWE's track record, I mean, despite what people say about Monday Night Raw being a lousy show, the pay-per-views, for the most part, deliver, and I think SummerSlam will be no exception. I think if you go, you'll have a good time, and, there's the whole COVID thing, but I think you'll have a fun time if you go, regardless of the card. It's SummerSlam. It's in a big stadium. TJS with a $3 super chat. And by the way, I think they're really going to try to make this like the real WrestleMania. We had WrestleMania, but SummerSlam with a full stadium of people, they're going to make this the unofficial WrestleMania. And TJS sent in a $3 super chat, says, "Dear sir or madam, will you read my book?" I have no idea what that is a reference to. Does anybody have a clue?
Nope.
I'm not
Probably another
into
Beatles
deep
song.
thinking. Yeah, I'm not into deep thinking right
Nope.
now when we're talking about wrestling. So, I mean, speaking of, momentum, Aaron likes to use this word, throw this word momentum around lately. How about WWE's financial earnings? They cut the dead weight, and we know the deals that they struck with NBC Universal, ones they've had with Fox. I mean, they make money. Even though the product seems shitty, they make money. But that's not a topic tonight. I just wanted to throw that out there because guess what? Jeff Hardy is out with COVID-19. I think he's okay. Hopefully it's one of those symptom-free ones, and he just needs to stay away for a couple of weeks. With that said, there were rumors that maybe another match with Karrion Kross was going to happen. Maybe Karrion Kross was going to lose that one too, where he eventually needed Scarlett to show up. These are all rumors to be there to have him start winning. Who knows what Vince McMahon is doing with this? But what we did get is Karrion Kross, who lost to Hardy in under 2 minutes last week, versus Keith Lee, who was out for a long time, who is racking up the L's against each other. Now, good news is, as long as one guy got a win, somebody got a needed win, right, Aaron? But that means somebody had to go under, put the other guy over, and it was Keith Lee who lost by tapping out. So what's the thoughts on this? Nico, I will start with you this time. I want to see I want to see them try to build new stars. Karrion's still the NXT champion, and he's going to be wrestling Joe soon for the title. But what's going on here?
I literally have no idea with this. I thought maybe what they were going to do is they were going to have Karrion Kross go on a losing streak and then bring Scarlett in as like his, saving grace or like his good luck charm or like his valet, which generally what they do for a lot of talent who they, pair up with someone. They start out on a losing streak, then they get the valet, and all of a sudden they start winning, Who
Jim
would have
Cornette, I heard through the grapevine, Jim Cornette, he used to be there with
exactly. And I listen to Jim Cornette almost every week. As much as how harsh he is on today's current product, he's got at least 35 years in the industry, so he's got to be doing something right. But that's for a different topic for a different day. I don't know what they're doing here with Keith Lee or with Karrion Kross. Clearly, not that many people in that watch Raw or that were at Raw 2 weeks ago watch NXT, because when Karrion Kross came out to the ring, he got little to no reaction. When Toni Storm came out on SmackDown last week, she got little to no reaction. She got a mini pop at the end there. But to me, it's just like, wait, do these people not watch NXT at all? I mean, I know Vince doesn't watch NXT, which is fine, but like, I think if they did, they would know how to react to some of these talents. I'm happy that, Karrion Kross got the win. I'm a Karrion Kross fan. Met him before his time in WWE. Great guy. Amazing look. Looks like a star. Looks like somebody Vince would want to push. The way he carries himself in the ring, how physical he can be, how good he is on the mic. But
according to Wade Keller, though, Wade Keller thinks he's stereotypical, and he's just not that good. Well, I'm throwing these dirt sheet guys out there that say these stupid things that have no clue because they're just fans with opinions like we all are. But anyway, I had to throw that out there because I figured that might have got you heated up there.
Well, I mean, if he's stereotypical, that's fine. Vince generally likes the stereotype.
Exactly.
Wouldn't you think, oh my goodness, Vince would see dollar signs with this guy? Now you put him with Scarlett. I hope if they're gonna put them together, we don't get a Sable Mark Marrow situation. While Scarlett can carry her own too, and she can go in the ring. I don't know if we'll ever see WWE put her in the ring, but she can go as well. I've seen it. However, Karrion Kross is where the money's at. I think over time, I'm interested to see what they do on NXT between him and Joe. Does he drop the belt to Joe right away? I was expecting, if anyone could beat Kross, it is Samoa Joe. But I just don't know. Right now, it's still too early to tell. I'm hoping Vince gets behind Karrion Kross and pushes him to the moon, because if he does, he won't regret it later on. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and we'll have to find out. Now, Big G, you know what I see Keith Lee as a candidate of at some point, just based on what they're doing to him on the main roster? It's going back to NXT. Your turn.
So yeah, so when they announced this match, or not really announced it, but when they did their little split screen and they said next, I was like, okay, hopefully this match will be as good as their match back in NXT when Karrion Kross beat Keith Lee for the NXT title. But no, I mean, it was okay for what it was. And Karrion Kross, I mean, the guy could be a star, but I believe, and this is just me, Vince does not want anybody higher than him in the WWE. He does not want to build any new stars, because if he did, he could have done it with Keith Lee when Keith Lee first debuted. Because Keith Lee, yeah, he's not so great on the mic, but he's very talented in the ring. And when Karrion Kross came up against Jeff Hardy, no Scarlett, no mystique about him, and that's what draws me to Karrion Kross in NXT. You have some mystique with him, and when on Raw he just comes out just like, whatever, I'm here, I'm on Raw, I'm getting that big paycheck, and it's just I don't know. And Vince doesn't watch NXT, then how do you know about these guys? I'm sure Triple H tells him, look, this could be your next potential big star. Vince says okay, and then Vince doesn't like him, and he just, like Keith Lee. I mean, Keith Lee was out for a good while, but I think Keith Lee was dealing with legal issues or whatever he was going on with. But they had one hell of a match in NXT, and one of these guys was going to have to lose, and Keith Lee's on a losing streak right now, and hopefully, he'll bounce back eventually and do something good. So, but at this point, I'm just like, I really don't care about Karrion Kross on the main roster. It's like, how are you supposed to believe this badass in NXT, and he comes to Raw? Actually, no, we see him on Monday Night Raw, and then we see him on NXT. How are we supposed to believe he's still this badass in the ring when he lost to Jeff Hardy in literally like in 2 minutes? It's,
well,
I
I'm
don't
sure
know what
this is where Tito would like to remind everybody that maybe the NXT system and Triple H is flawed as a star maker, and Vince McMahon just knows it, and that's why it's not working with any of these people.
Yeah,
could be true. I mean, or it could just be Vince being out of touch. It is what it is. But,
and don't get me wrong. I mean, some of the NXT people have been successful on the main roster, but it just seems lately, the recent call-ups, they just really haven't been doing anything. I don't know if we say Vince is out of touch, and he's really out of touch. He doesn't know how to draw in casual fans anymore. He wants just that niche group, and you can't, you just, I don't know anymore with this man. It's just,
I disagree with that statement.
You need some ibuprofen, Big G. You getting a headache?
I swear, like Vince.
Take a break. We got other topics to talk about. Take a break, breathe, take a sip of drink, and I'll pass it over to Aaron.
Please.
All right. First of all, Matt Helm sent in a $1 super chat with no comment.
Great.
Thank you for that.
Hey, that's a nice, easy one.
And Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Dwayne. Says, dumb question, I know, but why does Vince call the biggest draws of NXT just to bury them? I know he hates NXT, but why? Man, I think we're all trying to find out the answer to that mystery as to why Vince
I can answer that question, honestly.
Yeah,
I can answer that question. The reason why is because of this. Everybody thinks NXT is the best brand in WWE, right? Allegedly, depending on what you like, everybody thinks NXT is the best brand in WWE. At the end of the day, the bottom of your paycheck says Vince McMahon. So Vince is reminding you, no matter what you think, I still run this. This is my show. You can have your favorites, you can have this and that, but I'm the one who's still in charge here. Nobody else.
I mean,
you got to remember too, he used to bring in wrestlers from other territories when they existed, and they already knew how to work, right, crowds and stuff, and all Vince had to do was give them their WWE gimmick. I mean, and it worked a lot of times. That's how Vince McMahon knows it, and this isn't that same thing.
Tyler Richards on Facebook says Mr. Tito is such a loser. Ooh.
Ouch.
Well, I guess we'll have some comments.
And the fact that Mr. Tito elicited that response and he's not even on this show shows you why he's part of NoDQ.com.
Well, his chat messages have been put up on the screen, so that could be why he commented. And there was
why he's part of NoDQ.com. Got a reaction.
Well, in that case, we'd throw every Russo brand guy on NoDQ.com, but we don't. Alberto Gomez with a $2 super chat says, I miss Bayley, man. I do too. I feel bad that she got hurt. Right when the fans came back, she was a bright spot during the pandemic era. Hopefully she'll be back sooner than later. Mike D sent in a $5 super chat. Says Vince needs to step away from creative and focus on making money. Isn't he making money right now? We just saw the second quarter financial results.
Jeez.
Yes, they are making money.
The bottom line is WWE, as long as they're profitable, Vince is going to do what he thinks is best. Yeah. And if he thinks changing Keith Lee's music is the right decision, then Keith Lee's music is getting changed. If he thinks Karrion Kross needs to lose a match, then Karrion Kross is losing a match. And whether people like it or not, they're going to do what they're going to do. And as long as they're profitable, nothing's going to change. I mean, that pretty much sums it up. Report Card Radio says you were just complaining about Bayley challenging for the title over and over. Yeah, I mean, put her in a different storyline, maybe move her over to Raw, like if she hadn't gotten hurt, move over to Raw when the draft takes place. But yeah, I think just putting her in a filler storyline with Bianca Belair was kind of boring. Otherwise, I was enjoying the stuff that she was doing.
You missed one from Walter Cruz. That was a $2 one.
All right, yeah, I see it here. Walter Cruz, thank you, Big G. Walter Cruz said, call up the Go to SmackDown, do better than Raw.
Yeah, that's very true. I can agree.
Is accurate.
Yeah, well, SmackDown's got Paul Heyman helping them write the show. So,
well, I don't think he's doing anything right now. I think Paul Heyman has a role with Roman Reigns' stuff, but I think it's funny because I really do think it's just the same people that are writing both shows. Only I think people tend to like SmackDown better because SmackDown is a 2-hour show. If SmackDown was 3 hours, I don't think we would be singing its praises quite as much if it was a longer show.
Right.
But
that's true.
I think with 2 hours, it makes them cut out some of the filler. The problem with Raw is that they got 3 hours, they got to drag things out, and they throw a lot of things on television that don't really need to be on television. And that's what happens. And that's the way it's been now for almost a decade.
So Karrion Kross, obviously, he's only boring because that's the way WWE presents him. If they had great storytellers, writers, agents, that knew their stuff, like Pat Patterson was really good with that stuff back in the day, everything could be presented and it could gain interest. But the fact is, there's just not many of all the pieces involved in WWE today weren't what they were 20 years ago, and it comes across as blah and bland. And the wrestlers are obviously getting affected where, like, we make fun of the Nikki Cross thing, Karrion Kross is boring, and it's just a product of WWE resting on their laurels, not really caring, and still making money, so why should they care? And that's really what's going on here. Who cares about wins or losses? Vince McMahon testing wrestlers. It is what it is. I guess we'll have to see what happens with both of these going forward. Right now, Karrion Kross is probably in a better spot than Keith Lee, but, we'll see what happens. Maybe a couple months from now, maybe Keith Lee will start getting some wins and his fans can be excited. But we're going to move on, and we'll talk about some AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite, steady 1.1 million viewers now. They got the momentum. Woo! Let's go. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan on the way. Everybody's up, Aaron. Raw, you said Raw and SmackDown both came down because they shot way back up. They're up from what they were. Remember when AEW Dynamite was doing 850? Raw was record low, 1.5. SmackDown was dipping down into 1.8, 1.9. Everybody's up. Everybody has momentum, Aaron. That's just because fans are back. Fans are back, so people are wanting to watch the shows a little bit more.
Right.
So I don't like this damn bias that people give AEW like it's the best new thing in wrestling. All of wrestling is in the same boat. It's all the shits. It all sucks. And the coolest thing about wrestling today is when we do get something like the Roman Reigns storyline or Punk or Daniel Bryan might come back. But beyond that, beyond those cool things, wrestling sucks. It's for geeks and nerds that only want to watch it to be miserable. And that's the promoter's fault. It's Vince McMahon's fault. It's Tony Khan's fault. It can be better. And we shouldn't settle. And like you saying AEW is gaining momentum, I get it. You're doing it because you run a website. You want the popularity of wrestling to increase. And if Dynamite increases, that might make WWE do something. So I get why you're saying it, but I'm holding everybody accountable, not just AEW. I'm not just saying that there's things about them that need big improvement. WWE as well, and we need to acknowledge that. Now, with that said, what's everybody's thoughts about Dynamite last night, including Nick Gage, the hardcore deathmatch legend of the Indies, versus Chris Jericho, and we had a pizza cutter involved. We had Domino's put a public statement out there today. They don't condone that. So
I thought that
a lot of stuff. Nico, I'm going to come right back to you. You can talk about this. And then if there was anything else on Dynamite, it's kind of one little segment here. I got my piece out. You go ahead.
No. For the record, I thought the Domino's commercial was absolutely hilarious. Perfect timing. They planned that perfectly. I didn't mind the Nick Gage versus Chris Jericho match. Big ups to Jericho for having to latch on to some, independent wrestling, darling, just so he can be over with the cool kids. God, he did not need to be in that match. I was like, wait a minute. Because Jericho is supposed to be the sympathetic babyface, right? While MJF is the heel that we want to see Jericho kick the crap out of, right? At All Out or whenever they do this, once this 5 labors of BS is over.
Yeah, because what's next? Juventud is next, right?
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm like, Juventud Guerrero, like, okay, I popped just because I remember him back in WCW, but it's like, wait, Juventud has a reputation for not showing up to shows. Juventud Guerrero has a reputation for, not selling for guys during a show. Yeah, I know Jericho is a veteran, but really? You're going to bring Juventud Guerrero to your brand new wrestling promotion that's supposed to be the hottest thing in the industry? Like, no. Why do I want to see Juventud Guerrero right now? Why do I want to see Juventud Guerrero? I mean, I love the LWO back in the day, being a Latino myself. I was very proud member of the Latino World Order, but it's like, seriously, Juventud Guerrero? Like, this does nothing. So what you were saying earlier, because I just want to get off this Nick Gage, Chris Jericho match, because it did nothing for me. Like, I think
I'm with you. Like, I could comment on it about everything that's wrong with it. I just don't want to waste my time.
And I don't want to do that because while Nick Gage's wrestling style isn't necessarily my cup of tea, I have all the respect in the world for the man, mainly because he does have a cult following and he survived some real shit, whether it was, by his own doing or not. The fact is the man is still above ground. Not that many people can say that that have done similar shit to what he's done in his life. So all respect in the world for Nick Gage. If I ever met the man, I'd shake his hand and ask for a picture, and that's about it. But I'm not his biggest fan.
Hey, would you shake Randy Orton's hand?
Yes, I would.
Interesting.
And I did. I was in the same.
And he quit on the Marine Corps. And I gladly would shake Randy Orton's hand.
All right, then.
But
do you not know the story about Randy Orton and why I asked that question?
I do not know the story, but I'm assuming I'm pretty sure I heard it, but it's eluding my memory.
Now, Nico, you had some great points, and I watched Dynamite last night. It was just a standard show, other than them doing the death match. and the whole stuff with MJF, and I get it. They're putting the IWGP US title on there, trying to do some of that New Japan cross promotion stuff, and it's just there's some I like the performers and stuff, and I'm happy they're getting paid. Is there anything else on Dynamite before I pass it over to Aaron that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
I love AEW. I love the Young Bucks. They're great, wonderful human beings. And they're pretty good. My one gripe that I do have is I wish the 10-man tag, I wish it didn't open the show. I understand why it did, but there's so much more big build around, Hangman Page and the Dark Order versus the Elite. That should have main evented, in my opinion. Just because the show was solid, like you said, but then at the end when MJF says, next week, Juventud Guerrero, everybody's like, what? Zero reaction. I don't get it. I don't understand it. When CM Punk and Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, when they do show up, because they will, I'm going to pop. I'm a huge CM Punk fan. Met him numerous times. Great guy. Same with Bryan. But I just don't know. Like, they might get over 2 million just that first night, maybe the first couple of weeks. But after that, I just don't know because of the booking. I
would be impressed if that happened. I'm thinking 1.5.
I just don't know because the booking is just so why? It's just why. I don't.
Well, hopefully Punk will have some creative control. Now I'm going to pass it over to Aaron because I saw a bunch of super chats come up, and I don't want him to get too far behind. I think the first couple rounds of the NBA draft are over now, or the first so many picks, and people are popping on here, and our numbers are going up. So there you go.
Okay, well, I didn't realize we were dealing with competition, but I guess everything is competition for the NoDQ review. All right, Alberto Gomez with a $2 super chat says, what topic are you on? I needed to ask. Well, maybe you don't know up to this point, but in case you don't, we're talking about AEW, Nick Gage. We're talking about pizza, Domino's Pizza, which, by the way, I'm not a big fan of Domino's Pizza, really.
Oh, they're horrible.
They got good sandwiches and like other stuff, kind of, but the pizza, no way.
Yeah, they were originally a sandwich place, weren't they? If you watch that, Food That Made America on the History Channel documentary, weren't they? And then they became a pizza place.
I'm not sure. I don't know, nor do I care enough about Domino's to know their history.
Yeah, Domino's sucks anyway, so screw those guys.
Not the biggest fan of Domino's Pizza, so I'm guessing we will not be getting any sponsorships from them. Detective Mocha sent in a $2 super chat, says, AEW is better. Going to Chicago with family, CM Punk. Well, there you have it. And Mike D sent in a $5 super chat, says, AEW brings in Punk and Bryan, WWE countering with Cena, Brock Lesnar, and The Rock. No question who the bigger stars are. Yeah, well, John Cena is definitely a big deal. Brock Lesnar, if he does come back, could potentially be a big deal in a match with John Cena. Or not John Cena, Roman Reigns, I should say. Or maybe Lashley. And The Rock, yeah, that's 100,000 people at WrestleMania. That's about as big of a deal as you can get. And Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat, says, AEW does have momentum. I never watched until now. Also, Jericho took Juventud's mask back at WCW, so the match makes sense. It's nostalgia. It's just for fun.
No, it doesn't. Oh, God.
They mentioned it in late 2019. Jericho brought up Juventud, told MJF to Google it, and MJF did. I liked it. I think it's cool. See, if Juventud was on every week, I'd be like, this is not necessary. They're bringing him back for one time. It's all in good fun. Jericho's probably going to come out in the Lionheart gear. It's going to be a nice little fun throwback. It's just fun, and that's what wrestling's supposed to be. I don't mind past guys coming back for one-off appearances. It's just fun. And if Juventud doesn't show up, then so be it. I mean, the guy probably could use a payday, so that would be very foolish to not show up when he can collect, as Virtue would say, some of that money marks cash. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $3 super chat. He says, Sammy Guevara, I think, will be the final match. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? You think Sammy's going to be the last guy?
I actually love that idea. I love that. I didn't think about that, but I really do.
Yeah, I think that would make sense making Jericho fight his own best friend, Sammy Guevara. Virtue, do you think this could potentially be like a send-off for Jericho? I kind of get that vibe that this could be like a retirement run for him, and he wants to do his bucket list of things, like have the death match and have one more match with Juventud.
I don't know what he's thinking, other than he probably knows he don't have much time left. I would just ask the question on Twitter the other day, how old was Shawn Michaels after the second Undertaker match? And someone said 44. And I was like, why? And yes, he did come back for that Saudi Arabia thing. Let's pretend that
doesn't count.
That was a one-off. Jericho's well older than that, and a lot of people are saying things that he doesn't have it anymore. He's got to know. And so, yes, Aaron, he might be setting up his swan song. I don't know.
Mr. Tito sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Tito. He wants the debate. He says, let's not let this Aaron likes AEW for the webpage hits go by. Elaborate more, Virtue. Defend yourself, Aaron. Great debate time.
What the F is he talking about? Who cares? Why? Like, what are you talking about, Tito? Why would I do the exact same main event and story that we did last week that we already talked about? There was nothing really new for Bryan and Punk, but there will be, if that's what he's referring to. But there will be. Is he referring to the review or your page in general or Dynamite?
Maybe just AEW in general, but
that's a good thing. I said that's still a good thing. Bryan and Punk are still a good thing because it's who they are. Question is, what creative liberties are they going to have, and how are they going to be presented? That remains to be seen.
Right.
That is a good thing for sure. It popped our number, Aaron.
Yeah,
big time.
Big time. Alberto Gomez sent in a $6 super chat. Says, Kross just feels like every other superstar on Raw. He needs Scarlett. If he doesn't have her, he loses his mystique. It's like Taker not having Paul Bearer. Yeah, that's a good comparison. I just think that Kross had something special with that entrance, and stripping it down doesn't do him any favors when he needs anything he can get to that next level. That's just my opinion on it. Part of what made him special was the entrance.
Tito said, and Aaron is an AEW shill because he knows it's going to bring him hits because it's hot right now because of the Punk and Bryan news, Tito. I get Aaron's business, Tito. Just because
I actually like AEW, so it's not just a matter of like
you're selling. You're a good worker. I mean, I believe you're a good worker right now. You saying you like it, but I don't blame you because who's there or who's going to be there? How does that affect your business? I don't remember you wanting to say that a month ago before this broke about Punk.
Well, there were no fans a month ago.
Yeah.
Well, there were, but they were limited.
Anyway, did you get all those super chats cut up? Because there were a lot of them.
Yeah, there were. I think there's one more.
I just want to make sure you didn't miss any. Okay.
The Game is on 100 sent in $5. Says AEW signing Punk and Bryan is similar to 94 when Hulk Hogan jumped to WCW. This AEW thinking is WCW all over again. Get the talent. I can win the Super Bowl.
I can agree with that. But it's again, how do you use them? WCW knew how to use Hogan and Macho Man and all those guys. Most of them had creative control. Allegedly, Bryan's got some creative control. I'm hoping Punk does too, because Punk's a pretty smart guy. Bryan's a smart guy. Punk and Bryan won't put themselves over. They'll help the younger talent get over, but they'll also help with the stories, which is something AEW is really lacking right now.
Yeah. And I think the end goal should be to elevate new stars. Like they cannot rely on CM Punk and Daniel Bryan for 5 years. Like at some point, you want to bring them in strong and use them to bring in new viewers, but then you got to build up your next generation of guys. And I think AEW is doing pretty well with what they got up to this point, but still there's no one guy that you can say is like their Steve Austin or Rock. And quite frankly, I don't know if we're ever going to see a Steve Austin or Rock in any promotion, just because it's something that only comes along once in a generation, and maybe somebody will catch on. You just don't know. With Steve Austin, he was the ringmaster, and the Steve Austin Stone Cold gimmick caught on, but it very easily could have fizzled out. Like they might have given up on him before he even had the chance. to become Stone Cold. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. I think in the short term, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan will definitely bring in some new eyeballs for AEW.
AEW has the big star with MJF. They really do.
Well, they can have a couple big stars, but can they get them over?
Yeah,
not just to the diehards that think they're already over, but I'm talking.
Here's the thing: you could do that with MJF. My only concern is how do you turn him babyface when the time comes? That's my only concern. In regards to the Punk and Bryan thing, all I want out of CM Punk, because that's my boy, the first time he wrestles Kenny Omega, just beat him. Then after that, I don't care what happens. I just hope Punk beats Omega the first time.
Now, we can't forget about Big G on this topic. Aaron, is there anything else you wanted to add on the AEW Dynamite topic? Jericho, Nick Gage, Super Chats. We got to remember to pass it to Big G.
Absolutely. TJS with a $5 Super Chat. Thank you, TJS. He says, with all of the teases and running in a huge arena the day before SummerSlam, is AEW booking themselves into a corner? If CM Punk doesn't show up, fans turn and riot. Well, I don't think they'll do that, but I think it's pretty much a given that CM Punk is going to be there. Like, if they were not sure about it, I don't think they would have teased all the stuff with CM Punk on Dynamite. Like, they know that we know he's coming in, so that's why they're doing this.
And that's smart, because a surprise, you want to have people tune in, right? So you kind of get that out there. I kind of like that fact there. See, they did that right.
Yeah, and you don't call the show, the first dance in reference to the Chicago Bulls Last Dance, documentary in the United Center of all places.
Yeah, and I mean they want that moment, like CM Punk in the United Center. That's going to be huge for AEW. That's
going to be huge for wrestling. That's going to be huge for the city of Chicago. I plan on being there. I will let you guys know. So
definitely. If you go, let me have a recap of what happened there. Your in-person experience. I would like to go, but not sure if that's going to happen or not. We'll see. It's a maybe at this point. Alberto Gomez sent in a $2 super chat. Said, WWE saving Becky Lynch's return for SummerSlam weekend. That's interesting. We've had no Becky Lynch up to this point. We all thought she was going to show up on Money in the Bank, and then we thought maybe she would show up on Raw, but we have not seen her. And I suppose she could show up on SmackDown, or maybe they just decide to hold her off a little bit longer until after SummerSlam, and they feel like they need to get another big name in there, like with John Cena around right now and Goldberg. Maybe they just want to focus on those guys and save Becky for down the line. And that might be a smart idea to keep people invested. Tony sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Tony. He says, do you think CM Punk's return would be similar to Edge after multiple years off being able to put on 30-minute amazing matches? I think so. I think if he's in there with the right guy, I think CM Punk can have a great match. I think him and Omega would have a great match. I don't really think that there would be any problems with that. Virtue, what do you think?
I'm about to tell you the whole NoDQ Galaxy here. The super chats are great, but they're starting to do this after dark thing like well before. Like, this is not like the NoDQ review in A. So anyway, because I'm like 2 super chats behind you, Aaron, ahead of you. I see a Walter Cruz one here. Read me that super chat again, because I do want to answer this properly.
All right, so do you think CM Punk's return will be similar to Edge's? And after years being off, would he be able to have a 30-plus minute great match with somebody?
Yeah, because if he was planning this, he was doing cardio, practicing, working out. Sure, you're going to have the ring rust and stuff worked out in front of a camera. It's different, versus in private. But I'm sure the early stuff isn't going to be – they're going to make it to where he looks good. Maybe down the road after he's done it for a while, then maybe he can have a longer match. They're going to be smart about that.
Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Says, I understand the hype for CM Punk and Bryan. I love them, but AEW better use them correctly or the hype will be gone fast. Fans will turn. They are fickle. And yeah, I mean, right at the beginning, they should be at the top. People want to see CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, or Daniel Bryan, or excuse me, Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. You want to see those big dream matches in an AEW ring. Now, Darby Allin versus CM Punk, that's interesting. Not sure I would go with that as a first match for CM Punk, but hey, if he wants to do that, if he's like, give me Darby Allin and that's what makes him happy, then let him do what he wants to do.
I wish that match had a bit of a story though, because their characters, if you think about it, Punk and Darby's are very similar character-wise. That's kind of what drew me to Darby Allin before he signed with AEW. Yeah, he had the tattoos and all that, and he's, alcohol and drug-free, things like that. But that's kind of what drew me to him, because I was like, wait, he kind of carries that loner type of early CM Punk ROH, WWE, ECW type of CM Punk vibe. But I just don't know. I just don't know if that would be if that would be my first match with Punk.
We're gonna have Nico. We're gonna have plenty of time. Like, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, and I know the fans, the NoDQ Galaxy, they're excited. They're thinking of all the possibilities. We had to do one of these shows every week, people. NoDQ Review, NoDQ Galaxy. We're gonna be able to talk about this for a long time, because guess what? They're coming. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, I'm pretty sure, are gonna be in AEW here, and we're gonna be able to talk about this stuff now. I'm going to Big G because I do not need him to fall asleep here. And he's got to get – maybe you don't have anything to say here about Gage and Jericho or anything on Dynamite. We can move on. But I'm going to give you the opportunity.
So I've been enjoying AEW the past couple months. They do some good stuff, but they still have their flaws. I did enjoy the opening match. That was fun. It was kind of – stupid funny how the League came out to like wearing Space Jam gear and coming out to like the basketball entrance and all that stuff, and it was a good match. I just don't know how they're gonna bounce back from Hangman losing to Kenny Omega, and who's gonna challenge Omega for the title. Could it be Punk? Could it be Bryan Danielson, whoever? Could Hangman get back in the title picture eventually? Could it be Christian Cage? But, the whole show, it's a 2-hour show, but it went through really fast. I'm not looking at my clock here, seeing what time it is. An
hour just flew by in the review. I cannot believe, I know I usually say I want to do under an hour. This has flown by and we're not done yet.
Yeah. But
maybe it is AEW. Maybe
it was a really good show. Thunder Rosa is really good. I enjoyed her. That Julia Hart, she kind of reminds me of a young Bailey. She's still learning the ins and outs of it. But I think Julia Hart will be great one day. Santana Ortiz versus FTR was pretty good. Two very good tag teams.
Getting hurt.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, that was nasty. Seeing Conan still out there, that brings back memories. The death, I guess the no rules match, whatever, this was the first time I'd seen Nick Gage actually wrestle, if you want to say it was a wrestling match. It's more of a fight. The fluorescent light bulbs, the pane glass, Jericho using the green mist, that was pretty cool. Jericho, he's 50 years old, or probably older than 50, and he's staying relevant right now. Trying to do what the younger wrestlers are doing. This Nick Gage guy, he's the king of the death match. Well, I'm Jericho. I'm the GOAT, so I'm gonna
the Painmaker.
I'm gonna do this match, and he's facing the Juice next week, and he's got a. I like how MJF is like coming up with these different stipulations. Like Jericho has to win with the top rope maneuver next week. So I'm thinking, is he going to do a 450, a shooting star press? One of my buddies at work, he watches AEW too. So me and him talk about AEW all the time. And that's, we did that back with the Attitude Era. you would watch Raw or SmackDown, and the next day you would talk about it at work. I don't think anybody really talks about WWE at work anymore. They talk about AEW.
What's Hoovie's move off the top?
It was like the 450. It was like the 450.
450.
So yeah,
So Jericho has to beat him by doing a move off the top.
yes.
Wait,
Okay,
wait,
it's gonna
hold on.
be. He used to do a back elbow off the top. He's gonna do that, but Hoovie's gonna flip a little extra, and there'll be the Judas effect. That's what he's gonna do.
And
That's
so
Judas effect off the top.
So we all know Jericho's gonna get his 5 matches with these guys, but I'm going to Pittsburgh here in 2 weeks' time, and I'm trying to think, who's in Pittsburgh. Kurt Angle doesn't have a contract with WWE anymore. He could do a one-off with Jericho. He and Jericho they had a bit of a rivalry in WWE, So I'm thinking, I'm sure Kurt Angle can do a one-off match with Jericho, but that's just wishful thinking. But we'll see. But yeah, AEW. I mean, like I said, they're doing good things right now, but they still have their flaws that they need to work out. And people are talking about and Darby Allin, hinting at best in the world kind of thing. And I'm a person, I'll see it when I believe it. I read up on NoDQ.com and stuff like that. But I'm a person. What?
You'll believe it when you see it.
No, I think he meant he'll see it when he believes it.
But yeah, it's just, it's
all right.
People talk, so.
Well, we got a main event to get to. Aaron, back to you. Any last thoughts here? Any super chats, or is it time for the main event?
All right, we do have a few more super chats. Hamp Kano sent in $2. Says, if CM Punk jobs to Jungle Boy, I'm done with AEW. I do not think that will happen. And I will tell you what, if that does happen, like anytime within the next year, I will call AEW out on that. People say, oh, you're too positive about AEW. I will complain if that happens. Like maybe 3 or 4 years from now, if Jungle Boy is this huge sensation and he's clearly the future of the business, then yeah, one could make an argument.
And I'm with you, Aaron. Bryan and Punk, keep them strong early on, right?
Right.
Give them wins. Be careful who they're against and how it's done. And then, yes, use them and get those next level, those next generation people over. I miss that. No, but WWE doesn't even do that.
Yeah. And I am loving this Malachi Black and Cody thing going on right now. I pray to God, I pray to the wrestling gods that Cody does not put himself over next week.
He's not. He's doing that new season of Go Big Show. He's gonna be
okay, good.
Pretty
good.
Sure.
He can go Big Show with the Big Show.
Yeah, there's no reason for Cody to win that match. And we do have another super chat. So Mr. Tito has an interesting one with $5. Says, I'm still laughing at Collins' all EVP wrestling comment. Punk and Bryan better get that creative control in their contracts to avoid EVP jobbing. Okay.
Well, they do. They do.
Hold on here. Okay.
We're assuming they do.
When AEW started,
I can tell you I'm 99% positive they both have some creative control.
Oh, I'm sure they do, but here's something that Mr. Tito said about the EVPs, and people saying these guys are just putting themselves over. Okay, so when AEW started, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, they were not thrust into the main event. People were like, well, what are you doing? You're wasting these guys. And then they get pushed, and now people are saying, oh, the EVPs are just pushing themselves to the top.
They waited a full year.
Yeah,
which I didn't think they would, nor did I think that they should have waited. They should have waited.
And I acknowledge that too. I knew they because I was saying, guys, I get it why you didn't do it early on because you didn't want to get that EVP people pissed off. But I'm like, do it at some point, and they did. I actually don't have a problem with that.
I don't either.
Yeah,
no,
it's the perfect timing.
I don't either. The one if one EVP did push himself a little too early, it would have been Cody, in my opinion.
No, I agree with that.
But that's a different topic for a different day. I just think, and I know we're going way off topic here, you got to bring Punk and Bryan in almost similar to how the Outsiders came in.
That would be cool. But you don't want to replay history exactly. No, you want to make it still feel different.
You don't want to replay history. I agree with you. However, you can have them come in and be like, okay, boys, the measuring stick is changing a little bit here again. Time for all this cosplay. I know I'm from a cosplay wrestling group, but time for all this cosplay wrestling bullshit to slow down a bit here. Have them beat up on guys like Joey Janela, who is going to go nowhere for the company, unfortunately. Sonny Kiss, I'm sorry. You got a great story, but you're not going to draw AEW any money. I'm sorry. Marco Stunt, bye-bye, please. Have Bryan and Punk.
I'll let Orange Cassidy stay.
Yeah,
because I enjoy him getting beat up.
You know what?
That means he's entertaining to me and he's doing his job.
You know what? I want to see the biggest thing you can do is you can have Punk and Bryan beat up on everybody, but then you can have your future stars put a stop to it. You can have your Orange Cassidy, you can have your Jungle Boy, you can have your Sammy Guevara, and then if you need a fourth guy, the guy you turn babyface to save AEW, MJF, because those four guys, they're the future of your company. They're the guys.
Hangman, big time.
Hangman too, I guess.
No,
but I don't know. I don't see Hangman hanging around the next 10 to 15 years. That's
a long time. We can't.
I know.
We got to think of 5 years right now. AEW's new.
Okay, but I'm
going to cut everybody off. Aaron, any more super chats to catch up on?
Alberto Gomez sent in a $3 super chat. Thank you, Alberto. Says, thoughts on the Mexicools? Juventud was with them. Yes, see, we're getting into the after dark topic.
We got a main event to talk about still.
Yeah. I mean, it was entertaining. I mean, it was stereotypical, but I mean.
Yes, as a stereotypical Mexican, I appreciated it. I thought it was hilarious and entertaining. However, they never gave them the tag belts, so screw you, Vince.
Yeah, I mean, I think the crowd liked the gimmick for a while, but they didn't really go anywhere, unfortunately.
Exactly.
All right, so I think we're caught up. Anything else you wanted to add?
We're gonna be talking about AEW a lot with these Punk and Cena, this Punk and Bryan rumors. We got to go back to WWE here because we're expecting Roman Reigns versus John Cena for SummerSlam. Okay, they're obviously gonna go slow with this before Reigns accept. Are we gonna get it now? Big G, I'm coming to you. So here's the deal. Finn Balor comes out and basically challenges Roman once Roman said, I'm not going to accept your challenge, Cena. We know that Cena will be in the Universal title picture come SummerSlam. But what is this Finn Balor thing? Is it going to be one-off for some SmackDown filler leading into SummerSlam so Cena doesn't, Cena just kind of can talk and doesn't have to do too much and there'll be something for Reigns to do? Is Balor going to get put into this and why? He was in NXT for over a year as a triple threat, and the only reason why I could think this is would they bring the Demon back, who I still don't think has ever lost, so that would add an interesting dynamic to that, and to protect Cena in case Cena doesn't have the endurance to go one-on-one, and maybe they want to protect Cena, so they put Balor in there, because you know how triple threats go. Big G, what's happening here? And interestingly enough, in a little bit, I want to tell you my theory on Finn Balor, so go ahead here. Main event, SummerSlam, what's it going to be, and how is Finn Balor involved?
So, yeah, I thought it was, kind of odd that Roman declined John Cena right away, and out of all people, Finn Balor showed up. But, no more Daniel Bryan in WWE, so they're going to go back to their, I guess, next indie darling, which is Finn Balor in a way.
Okay, see, I don't even have to explain that now. That's what I was going to get to. You get to talk about that.
So
I don't have to do it. It makes my job easier.
The crowd loves Finn Balor. I liked Finn Balor when he went back down to NXT. He wasn't smiling. He didn't do the whole light charade and stuff like that. And as soon as he came back on SmackDown, here we have, smiling Finn Balor again in a way. And the Too Sweet, I mean, he still does the gun thing, which is pretty cool. And he does the whole light charade again. I understand it's a big crowd and the crowd loves that. So
because guess what they're trying to replace? Yes, with
the lights, exactly.
You're replaceable, Daniel Bryan. I mean, rumors are that some people could be mad if he goes to AEW and WWE, right. But let's replace you. We got Kevin Owens, we got Finn Balor.
Would I be mad against Finn Balor being into this triple threat? Not really, because then
got to be the Demon. I can't see that.
It has to be the Demon because I do believe the Demon is still undefeated in the main roster and in NXT. No, actually, in NXT, I think he lost, but main roster,
He
he's still
did to Joe.
Yeah. And Cena can get the, I guess Cena could get the pin, or Reigns could get the pinfall on Cena, and then eventually do a one-on-one with the Demon Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns later down the road. But this match between Balor and Reigns right now, I could see it on a SmackDown like, what are we, like 3 weeks away from SummerSlam now? 4 weeks? So, I mean, I could see it on a random SmackDown like 2 weeks before, and then, Roman, the Bloodline, beats down Finn Balor, and John Cena comes out and saves him, and, does his 6 moves of doom, whatever, and, Roman gets fed up with it and says, all right, well, I'm going to beat your ass at SummerSlam, Cena.
So Big G, could we get this regular Balor like this, a SmackDown filler match?
Yep.
The Bloodline helps out, whatever. It ends up being Cena versus Roman for SummerSlam. Then after SummerSlam, Balor comes back, and that's where we can introduce, well, I got my other side you haven't beat.
Yeah.
And then people are like, holy crap, he's never, like, what are they going to do here? And to give Roman a viable competitor after John.
Yep.
Aaron, you want to add to that? And I don't know if any more super chats came in, but
we do have a couple, and I could see that scenario playing out. I'm not sure if it's going to happen this week on SmackDown or next week, but I suspect we'll see Balor versus Reigns on SmackDown, and either Reigns beats him or Cena costs Reigns the match. But I still think we're seeing Cena versus Reigns at SummerSlam, no triple threat or anything. And then maybe after SummerSlam, we get Demon Balor in there against Roman Reigns for the title. Alberto Gomez sent in a $2 super chat, says those CM Punk and MJF promos are going to be fire, though. You know what I want to see? I want to see Rampage open up with CM Punk's music, only it's MJF that comes out. I know he's got the storyline with Jericho, but they got to do that before CM Punk shows up. You got to have MJF show up with CM Punk's music to troll everybody. Like, that would be great.
I like that, Aaron. I do. I like that.
I would be okay with that.
Not MJF. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat says, I want to see Roman keep the title for a while, but if Big E cashes in on him after the Cena match, I'm popping hard. Want to send fans home happy? Do that. Yeah, you could.
That's another possibility, yeah.
It's just, I feel like Lashley's a better choice because of the Kofi situation. And other than that, like Big E cashing in the way of taking advantage of a guy just doesn't seem like the right thing for a babyface to do, as we were talking about earlier. Like, if anybody's going to do the advanced cash in, Big E would be the guy to do it and call his shot. But hey, it's certainly a possibility. I think I would wait a little bit more and try to build up Big E more with his character and try to give him a little bit of a more serious side to him before having him cash in Money in the Bank. It could happen at SummerSlam, though. You got.
You okay, Big G, over there?
Yeah, I just got a Charlie horse.
Oh, okay. You look like, we needed to call 911 or something.
I know.
Okay.
I just got a major Charlie horse.
Okay.
All right. As far as Finn Balor goes, we'll see what happens on SmackDown. But no, I don't think it's going to be a triple threat or anything like that. Virtue, anything you would like to add? I think we're caught up on the super chats now. Yeah.
No, it's like Big G said. Finn Balor is in this spot right now, whether he gets a big feud or if it's just like for some SmackDown filler, he's that replacement because it's happened pretty quick after the rumors of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. Hey, we still got guys like that over here. We have Seth Rollins versus Edge. We have a Kevin Owens. That Ring of Honor culture of wrestlers.
Yeah.
And fans like. And I know CM Punk's at a different level because of the pipe bomb, the summer of Punk. But WWE we kind of knew that was never going to happen again. We thought that it would be cool if he showed up in WWE again, Punk, because we didn't believe it would ever happen. But you kind of figured that's a burned bridge. But the Daniel Bryan thing, it's like, wow, really interesting because, Bree's still there and with them kind of. And I just think to Vince McMahon, those type of guys are replaceable. It's the Cenas and the Brock Lesnars and the Goldbergs and the Rocks that he likes, and that's why we're where we're at. So that's all I really have to say. Roman, as long as Roman keeps, they push forward with this, I'm all for it. And if there's any chance that the Rock match will happen, don't let Roman lose the title.
Yeah, well,
do it down the road. So, Nico, what would you like to say in this main event?
I'm looking forward to this. However, my biggest gripe is I love Finn Balor or Prince Devitt. Sorry, I'm such a mark. Whatever you want to call
That's
him.
okay, and you're not afraid to say it. See, props to you, man. Props to you.
Yeah. I love the Prince. I love what he was doing in NXT with the Prince gimmick. I was expecting that back when he came on SmackDown. I popped when I heard his music and when he interrupted Sami Zayn's promo. I'm like, okay. And then he didn't even do the gun thing. He didn't even do the gun. He did the hands like this because, of course, you can't do a gun on WWE programming because that'll scare away the kids. And then we got the moms against, WWE cancel culture will be alive and well again. So we can't do that anymore like you could on NXT. I don't know. My thing is Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, Fergal Devitt, whatever you want to call him. He needs to go balls to the walls here and just say, they're just using me as a filler to get to Roman vs. Cena because we all know that match is happening at SummerSlam. It's going to be a one-on-one match. You're not doing a triple threat, not with John Cena and Roman Reigns. You're not adding a third person in there. I'm sorry. Unless
I agree.
Unless somebody,
I know there are people out there that are pipe dreaming that.
Yeah, unless somebody, like if John tweaks his knee or something, or a minor injury happens where they have to add a third person to kind of protect one of the other two, it's not happening. We're getting a one-on-one match. But in the meantime, Finn Balor, you need to go all out, dude. You need to act like this is a do or die moment here. So at least if you do not get the title, management could say, hey, we can really rely on this guy for a main event push. We can go to him, just like you've been able to say, oh, we can rely on a guy like a Cesaro and a Shinsuke Nakamura, excuse me, my throat got dry there, but granted they're not going to give them the belts just yet, but you do have guys that you can go to whenever you need to, and Finn Balor needs to be added to that list as a dependable potential main event talent. I would love to see Finn Balor as Universal Champion once again, please. He had the Red Hot Doritos title. Now he can get the Blue Cool Ranch Doritos belt. That would be nice, but we'll see.
That's the color of the bags of the chips. I like that.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there. But I fully expect this. I'm gonna tell you how this goes this week on SmackDown, or tomorrow, or this coming Friday, whenever you watch this. Roman finally agrees to Finn Balor's challenge. They do the match, saying next week. Roman wins. They go for the beatdown. Cena makes a save. We're 2 weeks out to SummerSlam. Somehow, some way, we get Roman versus Cena one-on-one at SummerSlam. I fully expect Roman to drop the belt to Cena. And the reason why I say this, John's got Suicide Squad coming out, and you got John Cena booked for SmackDown Live at the Garden, WWE's backyard. I'm sorry, I like Roman Reigns. I like his heel persona that he's doing as the tribal chief. I do acknowledge him. However, you heard that pop that John Cena got at Money in the Bank? Nobody's touching that in WWE right now. John Cena is still the guy. In my humble opinion, John Cena is a bigger star in WWE than Hulk Hogan. I know some people are going to hate me for that. If you allow me to explain, I will. The stuff that Cena has had to deal with, there's no way Hulk Hogan would have had to deal with that stuff in the 80s. If we had social media in the 80s and everything that we know about Hogan now, they would have crucified the guy.
Yeah. And plus, Hogan's biggest movie was Suburban Commando, and John Cena's been doing Fast and Furious.
Yeah, now he's in the next 2 Fast and Furious installments, and he's going to get his own spinoff. He's already got a Fast and Furious action figure that's coming out next year. So go figure.
Let's not forget Roman Reigns was with The Rock and Hobbs and Shaw a Fast and Furious
Yes,
movie. So
yes,
we
the
don't
Fast and
know
Furious.
what his path lies down the road either. But we
he's
know
going
how-
to Hollywood too. He's got the build for it. He's got
But
the look.
I'm glad you want Cena. I think Cena's going to win, going to get the record and all that, because it makes it more fun for me when I'm on the other side of that opinion. So I like that. Nothing wrong with that.
I want to see Reigns stay champion, but
I do too. For the record,
as Nico said, they got the MSG show with John Cena being announced for it now, and that's very interesting. Like, I would not be surprised if Cena won the title at SummerSlam and then Reigns won it back in a rubber match. It would be 1-1 since Reigns won the No Mercy match. Cena wins at SummerSlam, and then they do the third match at MSG, and Cena drops the title back to The Rock. I would still prefer Reigns staying champion through WrestleMania, but I think adding Cena to MSG was, whether it was intentional or not, to make people think there might be a different outcome. I like the fact that they did that, because now you don't know. Like before, we all thought it was a given that Cena was losing. He was going to go off and do his movie. But now with MSG, who knows? Maybe he does get that 17th title. I think it makes the match more intriguing.
That's why I'm saying I think Cena gets the win at SummerSlam, kind of like you said. Then they're 1-1. Then Roman gets the big thing in WWE, gets the big win in WWE's backyard, MSG, of like, hey, now I am this company, not you. You can go about
Yeah, that's a WWE thing to do too. A short title reign for Cena just to get there. So it's hard not to think that way.
Well, I mean, crap. Charlotte Flair just had the women's belt for less than 24 hours. So.
We will leave it there, because I don't know. We might not have dark tonight, or whatever we call it, after hours, after dark, because everybody, I think, already did it. But let's go around and start doing our plugs, because we're already an hour and 22 minutes into this show. So, Nico, thanks for being on this show. It's a pleasure to have you. And
thank you guys for having me.
Down the road, we'll have you on again. Like sometimes we do a rotation. So, any plugs, anything you'd like to say in closing?
Yes. Again, thank you guys so much for having me on here. It was an absolute honor. Huge fan of the show. Please follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is on the screen right then and there, at @true_Nico. I'm also on Instagram at Nicholas Melendez, Nikolas, and then my last name for my Instagram. Let's talk wrestling. Let's be cool about it. Follow at 2Sweet Cosplay on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let's just talk wrestling and let's have a good time. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan, no matter how you look at it, with everything going on. WWE, AEW, New Japan, NWA, Impact is somehow still surviving. I don't know how, but
you know how long have we've been saying Impact's still surviving? That's been like a phrase for a decade.
Yeah, like I thought they were gonna die when they brought in Bruce Pritchard and Jim Cornette for again, but they're still around and they're starting to do some things. So you know what? No matter how you look at things, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Just enjoy it. Whichever show you watch, just enjoy it, please. We got enough big issues dealing in this world of ours, so let's just enjoy wrestling. All right. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Even though I enjoy the arguments and the stuff like I do on Twitter, because that's what really gets me flowing. But well said. Thanks for being on. Over to you, Big G.
Yes, NoDQ.com/BigBallerG takes my Twitter. And you can follow me on TikTok at BigBallerG1988. That is it for me.
You're really pushing that TikTok stuff. Oh, yeah. How did that ring announcing stuff go you were doing? Is that a TikTok thing?
Yeah, that's like a contest they're doing, and people are like, I go on there every day, and people are doing it and stuff like that. So, hey, it's WWE's doing their thing, so why not?
All right. Well, good to have you back. And, of course, Aaron, I saw a super chat pop in.
Yeah, so Alberto Gomez sent in a very generous $20 super chat. We'll definitely have to dive into this one. He says, to quote Roman Reigns, "It's the same entrance, the same music, the same run to the ring, the same attitude, the same insults. It's like missionary position every single night." Maybe we get a different...
That was well done. Well done.
That was a great
very
line.
well done. Although Punk did the promo better on Cena, but I digress.
All right, then. Anyways, Alberto brought up the idea that maybe we get a different John Cena versus Roman Reigns could be a different attitude or old character. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Maybe John Cena busts out the old thugonomics. I mean, I'd love to hear John Cena come out there and do the old style freestyle on Roman Reigns and just completely rip him a new one. Like, I want some trash talking. That's what I miss. Like, when you look at SmackDown in 2016, which I think was like their last really great era, those guys were coming out there doing the one-liners and just insulting each other. You know, when the Usos and the New Day had that little promo battle, and don't be going PG like your boy Xavier Woods, or whatever the line was, rated R like your boy.
Yeah, don't
Xavier
get all
Woods.
rated R like your boy Xavier Woods.
Yeah, that was great. Like, I want some insults. I want Cena to come out there and just go complete savage on Roman Reigns and be the old John Cena that would just be relentless. And then let Reigns, like, I want to hear the back and forth. That's one reason why I'm so excited about Punk coming back, because he was so good on the mic and the trash talking. He was awesome. CM Punk was one of the best on the mic, and that's just one of many reasons why I'm happy to see him in AEW. But it's going to be interesting to see who can hang with CM Punk. Like, the downside to CM Punk in AEW is it might expose that some of these guys are not that great on the mic. You know, hopefully somebody can level up and be at Punk's level. You know, hopefully their arms are not too short to box with God. You know.
Yep.
But yeah, fun time to be a wrestling fan, and thank you again, Nico, for being on. Much appreciated. All
For
right,
a minute
Virtue.
there, Nico, I thought you were doing your impression of John Cena because we
Yeah.
couldn't see you. That's what I thought you were doing with that.
I was
But anyway, all right. No, great show. Almost an hour and a half. A lot of super chats, a lot of engagement. This is what we do. I know we didn't have that, 250 live, people in the live chat like we did with the Punk, but that was pretty big news last week. And I'm sure we'll have some interesting stuff going forward once they finally show back up. But for Aaron Rift, for Big G, for Nico, I am Virtue. You can follow me if you dare on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. Yes, Aaron. Or you just peace out?
Yeah, peace.
Man.
Peace.
throwing up a too sweet.
With that said, NoDQ Galaxy, this has been the NoDQ Review, number 149. Thanks for listening and watching. We will see you next time. Believe that.